Greetings, everybody. Greetings. Welcome to the Mad Valid Mike podcast. White Guy John is back. White Guy John, how are you, sir?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Glad to be back.
It's good to have you back, John. I've made a couple of upgrades. Nothing too crazy.
Definitely a little more sophisticated.
A touch. We've gone from
a little less archaic.
We've gone from like 1930 to maybe 1982, let's say. We can do some reverb, and then we got all sorts of stuff going on here. So welcome in, Mad Valid Mike podcast. This is episode 16. We have titled "We Want You." Me and White Guy, we want you. Me and White Guy John decided that after seeing the 2024 presidential debate, I think you will agree with me, John, something needs to be changed about politics in America.
Yeah. Yikes.
I mean, we need a reboot. If America was a computer screen and all these things are popping up and error message and maybe blue screen, most people would just turn it off, reboot it, and it usually is okay. Correct? Is that still what they do these days?
Like, we need it to be like another Spider-Man reboot.
Okay. Something like that. But after the presidential debate, I went to John and I said, we had fun that first time you were on. You want to co-host again? He said, yeah, sure. What are we going to talk about? I'm like, well, you're going to pick the topic. And within 3 or 4 seconds, John, you were like, we need to form a new political party.
Yeah.
So
pretty much how it went. Yeah.
So we've decided to create a brand new political party. I know anybody that watched the debate, it doesn't matter what side you're on, what side of the aisle you're on, it's a disaster. Both guys. I mean,
it's
one
crazy.
guy.
You watch a debate from like 12 years ago.
Okay.
And it's completely different.
180, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how to describe like when I was feeling when I was listening to one guy just bumble through his words and the other guy lying off his ass. And I mean, I guess everybody lies, but and then they're obviously both near 80 or above 80. So we'll get into that. But let's get going right away. We're going to discuss a few things. We're going to discuss our Mount Rushmore of the pillars / platform, what we believe this party needs to be standing on. What are the foundations of our success going to be with this party? So we'll go into that. We will introduce some new laws. John, I believe you have a couple new holidays I want to discuss. I think you have a couple.
Yeah.
And finally, we will talk about our own individual tickets. I have a president and VP in mind for this party, and John has one. I have a feeling that mine are nowhere near what yours are.
No, I think mine are pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah.
So we're going to have a lot of fun with this. I don't want to say it's satire because there's going to be a lot of good nuggets in here that definitely should be taken by somebody. I think this party could actually survive given the parties that we're looking at right now.
Well, I mean, if you think about what has happened,
oh my God,
what has come to reality, you can't really say what we're about to present is really out of the realm.
No, absolutely not. And I know that the apocalypse is upon us, John, for one specific reason. I started talking about this episode a couple weeks ago, and a bunch of people out there that I work with, that I'm friends with, even people have direct messaged me saying they can't wait for this episode. So the apocalypse is upon us because people out there are so desperate for sanity and a regular political party that they are turning to two white dudes with zero, and I mean zero experience in government, zero experience in politics.
Yep.
I mean, we're barely good at restaurants.
But that makes us almost just as qualified as the candidates right now.
That is correct. I think we're both qualified to be president. Okay, so let's get. Sorry, we kind of got sidetracked. I want to kind of jump right into. All right, our party. So what are we going to call our party? We discussed this with a bunch. I did some research at work and just seeing what people were thinking. I talked to my dad a little bit. Yeah, we're having some technical issues. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, good. So, one of John's party, you wanted to be the common sense party, yes?
Yeah. I mean, it made perfect sense.
Yeah. And I looked it up, and my dad's like, oh, that's the greatest. So Papa Bear Cuth was completely behind it. I have another mentor, another guy named Jim that I kind of turn to for advice, and they both liked it. And I looked it up, and there's a common sense party in California.
Yeah.
A bunch of crazy Democrats, whatever. I mean, there's crazy Republicans too. So we got the. I thought of Pivot and the
like
Pivot
that.
Party. Pivot Party's not too bad. And I had people say, like, pivot to what? I'm like, fuck you, we're not doing the Pivot Party. Beacon. I like the Beacon of Hope. I was going to make a little play on words with Beacon and Bacon because we both liked pig for our mascot.
Yeah.
But then looking into that and talking to some people, pig is really not a very positive figure in politics throughout the years.
Mm. I was thinking foam party.
The phone party?
Foam.
Phone.
Foam party.
Oh, phone. Yeah. So like Suds phone?
You never been to a phone party?
I think in college.
Yeah.
So it's just a bunch of Suds and I think we did that at my fraternity house a couple times and I just didn't partake.
Yeah, you go home smelling like Bounty Fresh.
Okay. I definitely saw those and heard about those. I never participated. We talked about Stride Party. We talked about Aftermath, Polar Plunge Party, the Cleanse Party. We thought about combining our two names, the Mike Con Party, Mike and John. There's already a party called that. The John Ike, there's not a party called that, but I didn't like the way that sounded.
Yeah, that
I was going to do the Slushy Party. Everyone knows my affinity for frozen Cokes. That did not work. So basically it came to me like a shot. And when I asked a couple people around me at work when it came to me, they all smiled, and every single one of the 4 or 5 people I mentioned it to, yeah, that suits you. I mean, I'm an 80s and 90s guy. That's where all my pop culture comes from. We are going to be called, are you ready? The Griswold Party. We're going to be the Griswolds.
You serious, Clark?
Yes, I am serious. And whenever the economy goes into the shitter, you vote for the Griswolds. And then when we get in office, to keep the economy out of the shitter, you keep voting for the Griswolds. You with me?
Shitter's full.
The shitter is full, and we need a new party. So the Griswold Party is what it is. Anything you want to say about me calling it the Griswold Party? Do you think we're going to get sued for that?
I mean, I don't think so, but I do like it. I had a couple other ones like Noble American Party, but that sounded too much like the pizza store.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that.
But no, I think Clark Griswold is a perfect representation, I think, of most Americans.
He's the dumb father that doesn't know where anything is.
But with a heart of gold.
Heart of gold.
Best intentions. And that's really what our party's about, right?
Yeah, and he goes all out. Yeah, best intentions. I mean, so obviously we're wearing purple. Our color is going to be purple for a couple of reasons. One, we like some of the things that the Democrats on the blue side do, and then we like some of the things the Republicans on the red side do. You put those together and it's purple. So we're trying to mesh the positives from both sides of the aisle.
Trying to come together, not
Yeah,
separate.
we're a party that wants to unite. We don't care we are 2 white dudes, we get it, okay? But we don't care what you look like. We don't care who you're having sex with. Just be a good person.
Yeah.
Be a good person, and we want to, we want you to come and vote for us, for our party anyway. So, yeah, there's a Griswold, Iowa. I looked that up. That's
really?
where the GNC will be.
Okay.
The Griswold National Convention. The national car will now be the family truckster.
Oh, nice. Wood paneling on the side.
The big reveal behind me. What is that behind me? They're saying we've got a big reveal. I kind of went a little bit all out. So we've got the Griswold Party. Then we wanted a mascot, and we talked about a bunch of animals from Owl, the wise owl. We liked pig. Just it kind of represents us as a country, kind of in a negative way, I guess. Mustang. I heard Mustang Mustang is a powerful beast that only mates for life. And there's my dad wanted R2D2. I feel like that would have, even me saying it, I probably owe somebody 11 cents.
Yeah.
I was thinking the chupacabra.
Okay.
Do you know what the chupacabra is?
Isn't it like a fantastical creature?
It is. It's somewhat of a fantastical creature. I believe it originated in Mexico, and it's Spanish for the goat sucker. There was this animal that went around and was mutilating a lot of farm animals, especially goats, and they were finding the innards of the goats taken out. That was on Unsolved Mysteries back in the 80s, so I don't know if that was true.
That show terrified me when I was a kid.
It was
Whenever that music would play.
And they were always unsolved. It sucks. So now
Yeah.
Forensic Files, you actually get in
you had a call at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So they were still at large.
Yeah, they were. They were. Shark obviously is a good mascot to have. They're always going forward. But with the big reveal, I think I'm gonna have to take off my headphones here.
Oh.
When we're talking about the Griswold party, when you're talking about the actual movie, I thought of a couple things right away. I thought of the squirrel, that we could be a squirrel, the industrious squirrel in the tree of Christmas Vacation. I thought of that. Yeah. I thought of a pit bull, and that was for the original Snots. Yeah. This is Snots. I thought of a rooster. A rooster's an awesome. I have a couple hens, but a rooster's an awesome animal, and that was from European Vacation when Clark said, "You don't want to be a rooster, do you, Russ?" Those did not make it. I'll tell you what did make it, though. I'm going to give the big reveal right now. John, feel free to entertain everybody.
Okay, so I was really partial to the beaver, just because it builds things. But I thought
the beaver builds things. John, we're going to go into that in a little bit, but
can it be the official rodent of the national rodent?
Yes, I like the beaver being the official rodent, for sure. As you can see, that is a big moose behind us. And that is GP, not the GOP, not the Grand Ole Party, not GP for Gary Payton of Seattle Supersonics fame of the mid-90s, not for Gamma Pi from my fraternity Lambda Chi in the late 80s and early 90s of a disgusting thing we used to do as pledges. That stands for the Griswold Party. Woo! Yes, the Griswold Party. And it's a big moose. Let me talk about moose for a second. The moose, it is a large, imposing animal. It is actually declining in population in America, kind of like sanity. So we are trying to bring back the moose as well as sanity. The moose does not really bother many people unless people bother it. That I like a lot.
Is it what do you say? How do you say multiple? Like plural moose? Is it mooses?
I think it's just moose. I think it's just moose.
It's moose.
Yeah, so we're the moose.
Yeah.
And it's not fiercely territorial, but it will defend its young. Obviously, it is an herbivore for all the environmentalists out there that are trying to get everyone to stop eating meat. Good for you. I love meat, but this is an herbivore. You got to love that. John? And surprisingly, this one's coming out of the water. They're surprisingly good swimmers. This is an animal that adapts to wherever they are.
I hear they're like this size. They're like a story tall.
They are huge.
They're bigger than you think they are.
They are huge. There's a big, the restaurant we work at currently, there's a big moose above our bar. I believe they go up to 8-9 feet tall, something like that. They are a couple thousand pounds. I mean, they are huge animals. They don't have a lot of enemies. Their biggest enemies are brown bears that go after their young. So,
do you think Canada will be? Don't they kind of?
So yeah, Canada. I think the moose is one of Canada's national symbols, and I'm fine with that. I like Canadians. Yeah. I don't like their prime minister. He's kind of a doucherson. But I love their bacon. I don't like their Canadian geese. I think I spoke on that on episode 1.
Oh.
But yeah, so I also like Moosehead beer. Anyway, so it's the moose, the Grand Ole Party of the moose. So that's good. I don't know if
like when we do the national anthem, everyone we can do this to honor
the party moose.
Yeah.
What's going on here? I'm losing my mind. Okay, so so what is that? What's that playing? Is that uh, uh, is that from? Okay, I don't know what's going on, John. I'm losing my mind. So we're gonna go over our pillars now. So the pillars of the party. What are we gonna stand on? What are we gonna build this changing time of America? What are we gonna stand on? I'm gonna start off, and then we're gonna go back and forth.
All right.
I will always be behind law and order because no matter what happens, if you don't have law and order, nothing else matters. Correct?
I agree.
Chaos is not good for anybody. Law and order. There's a you know there are some bad police officers out there. Very few. There's bad waiters out there. There's bad teachers out there. The vast majority of police officers. Now, granted, I've lived my life as a white dude, as have you, but so I don't know what it's like in other people's shoes. But what I have encountered, they are giving their lives up every single day for the freedom and safety of the rest of us. To serve and protect is what they do. Without law and order, none of the rest of this matters. We couldn't do this, couldn't go out to dinner, do anything. I love police. I would love to pay them more so we would have a bigger pool of people to choose from, men and women, so that we could get as many, if not all, of the not good ones out.
Well, I mean, let's face. I mean, cops should be. If we had a force of nothing but like Jason Bourne type guys, they should be the best candidates.
Agreed.
Pay them the best money. Get the best candidates.
I thought defunding the police was one of the worst ideas in the history of the world. Defunding the police. That goes with social media was a horrible idea. Cigarettes, just tobacco. But defunding the police in my lifetime, I think, was the dumbest idea I've ever heard. And I'm so glad that it's starting to come around now. Stop demonizing these men and women. I love them. I can't say that enough. I am not perfect. I do some bad things. I don't think I do anything jailable. But I'm going to call the police whenever I need something, and they're going to come flying to our help. So that's my number one, law and order. What about you, buddy?
All right. So my big one is infrastructure.
Infrastructure. Okay.
So in better days, early 1900s, Americans were known for building shit.
Yes.
We built skyscrapers.
Yes.
We built freaking tanks and, whatever. That's what we were known for. And we need to go back to that.
Well, so I'm going to allude to this in a further. What do you think about just building or on what we've already built on? I'm not a total green, like climate change. Something's going on, but I think we have built on enough plots of land in this country where there are so many vacant buildings. I feel like we should only build on what we've already built on. So when you say infrastructure, I know we need better streets. We need better,
absolutely.
Anything from potholes to just better. So bridges are about to collapse here or there. We know that, so we need to reinforce bridges. That's what you're talking about.
Well, I'll give you a good example. So, especially with like transportation.
Okay.
Like in China.
Okay.
They have these high speed trains that travel over 200 miles per hour, and they go to over 500 cities across China.
Okay.
And they can do it, and it would they can do it in hours, whereas it would take days.
For us to do it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more time flying, and it's probably better for the environment.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They're called bullet trains.
Bullet trains, okay.
What? There's absolutely no reason why we can't do that.
Okay.
I mean, just think about like traveling. Let's say you could get to Denver in like 8 hours on a train.
You think in 8 hours? It would be probably less than that, wouldn't it?
going 200 miles per hour.
200 miles.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
yes,
right.
flying is faster. I knew
But there's
that,
a lot
but
more.
It's cheaper
Yeah, it's cheaper.
and it's constantly running.
And it's probably safer.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. So so we have law and order and we have infrastructure. I think both of us would say freedom. I guess that includes we're going to stand on freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of expression. I'm not an absolutionist freedom of speech guy, though. Just for the fact there are consequences when you say things. If you go on, say, social media and you say the McDonald's on blah 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 street, I saw 35 rats in there, and it cost them, and you didn't, and it cost them a lots of money, or even they closed down the location. What, like you should be in trouble for that.
Shut down up to
Same kind of thing. They always say you don't yell fire in a crowded theater if there's not a fire, and you're going to create, injuries. But for the most part, other than stuff like that, freedom, of course, we are going to continue to be, hopefully, the freest nation out there that there is. What else you got?
All right, so I really think what's really kind of fell off is privacy.
The what?
Privacy.
Oh, privacy. Interesting.
Everyone just obviously with social media and everything, it's just no one respects privacy anymore. You got cameras everywhere.
I didn't even think about that. Now, 100%. There's cameras everywhere. I feel safer that there's cameras everywhere. I think there's going to be less crime because of that. But when you start invading our homes, so Alexa or Siri, or, our iPhones, like our people, I'm online right now, so they know that I'm in front of the. When you start coming into our homes, I'm with you on that for sure.
Yeah.
But everywhere we go, there's pretty much cameras now.
But here's the thing, with those cameras everywhere, I know you feel safe, but someone can always hack into that.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
And now with
it happens with like Ring cameras.
Yeah.
There's people who will hack a baby monitor and start saying weird stuff to
no doubt
a little toddler.
And then you get into the deep fakes and the cheap fakes and all that, and they can take your video and your audio and switch it around.
But can we just back off Big Brother a little bit?
Absolutely. We are not going to be bigger. I don't think that the Griswold Party is for bigger government. We are for less government, taking less money for us so we can put more money into the marketplace of whatever we do. I know nothing about that, but yeah, I'm for less government.
Yeah,
John. I also want to mention meritocracy. I think we've gotten away from meritocracy.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get too crazy about DEI because I don't want to lose viewers or that I'm completely against that. It's just, I think we are losing I don't care what a pilot of an airplane looks like. I don't care who he has sex with. I don't care if he's from the planet Mars. Can he fly a plane? That's all I care about. Now, I think meritocracy. You see it in sports. Sports are probably the last complete meritocracy we have left. Unless
you're Bronny James.
Unless you're Bronny James, correct. Then we're talking about nepotism. However, stats don't lie.
Yeah.
One of the best things about sports is I can go back and Google and be confident that the stats are correct because you can't spin stats in any way or numbers in any way. They are what they are. Mm-hmm. So in sports, if you're the fastest guy, you're going to get a job. If you can jump, if you're a great shooter, percentage-wise, you're going to get a job. It doesn't matter what you look like. Yes, if there's tiebreakers, they're going to look for a guy that's going to put more people in the seats with acrobatics or their personality, be it as a villain or as a hero. There's that with tiebreakers. But for the most part, sports are meritocracy. I want to bring meritocracy back to the limelight. And that the best at, and we're all different. I'm horrible at most things. Like I shouldn't be hired no matter what color I am in most things. I'm just not good at them.
Yeah, I've
So
kind of seen you at the restaurant. I'm like, how does this guy have a job?
I my past is so far behind me. I'm walking up the 18th
Like this
fairway.
guy.
I'm
They
walking
let
up.
this guy talk to people.
Thanks, John. I appreciate you. You got any more?
Yeah. Majority rule.
Majority rule. So it's kind of. I mean, people
I,
say now we're actually a republic. We're not technically a democracy, especially
well,
with
I told you that.
the electoral college. Yeah, yeah. But
We are a republic, though.
we are a republic.
Yeah.
But if we were so majority rule. So you want to get rid of the electoral college, or no, you don't?
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but
Okay.
I'm just saying, in general, it just seems like so many of us are bending over backwards for a small percentage just because we don't want to hurt feelings.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I said on episode 1, John, I am going to make fun of myself as much as anybody else, and we need to just be offended less. I get offended, but at the end of the day, it's just words. Like, make fun of me, make fun of each other. It shouldn't live on that, like constantly making fun of each other, but laugh at yourselves. If you don't, there was a quote from one of my favorite bands, Indigo Girls, years ago on one of their live albums. They said, "You have to laugh at yourself sometimes, otherwise you'd cry your eyes out if you didn't." And I still remember that almost every day. We have to be less sensitive when people come at us, especially when you go to a comedy club and you're there to laugh. We stereotypes, yes. You don't want to be nobody wants to be racist. No, some of the funniest jokes are just making fun of each other. So I'm with you.
You make fun of everybody.
And that brings me to my last thing: fun. I think this country needs to have a little bit more fun and be a little bit less uptight. People constantly searching for things, like you were saying, to be offended by, to be pissed about. And I'm as much to blame as anybody. I want to change my mind where instead of looking for the negative all the time, look for the fun, look for the positive stuff. So yeah, we can't law and order. We're going to be based on law and order, freedom, of course. You said privacy. We want some privacy, meritocracy. What was the other thing you said?
Majority rule.
Majority rule
Well,
and
just think,
fun.
remember at kindergarten when the teacher would be like, okay, everyone raise your hand. Do you want to stay inside
Right.
and watch a movie?
Right.
Or do you want to go outside and play on the playground? Let's take a vote.
I like it.
I mean,
I
it
like
can
it.
really be that simple again.
Yes. I mean, the ultimate, though, the Electoral College is kind of because we don't want New York and California have so many people. They would
Yes.
determine our country. So that's why the electoral. So people all over the country can
Well, yeah.
determine our future, all that good stuff. Okay. So anyway, let's move on from that. We're gonna move on to a new segment. Somebody just jumped off a bridge. John, somebody just jumped off a bridge. Hold on.
Yeah, probably someone watching this podcast.
Did I hear that? Yeah, somebody just jumped off a bridge. Okay, so I think we should introduce some new laws, maybe,
Yeah. I think
for
that's a
our
good
party
idea.
if we ever get in power, which I
Yeah.
think is a definite possibility, as the Griswolds.
Yeah.
How could you not love the Griswolds? Let's start off with this. I just want everyone to vote on the same day. Is that too much to ask for? Are you against that?
No, absolutely not.
National holiday, and I guess there has to be something open. So maybe gas stations are open, but we make a law where you can only work 4-hour shifts whatever's open. You can only work 4-hour shifts. That's the day everyone goes to vote.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it all has to be paper ballots. I know we can move forward with the technology, and it's easier to rig it without the paper. Well, maybe it's easy. But I really think this mail-in voting, this absentee ballot, like one day for voting. If for some reason you can't get to the ballot, it's unfortunate. You weren't. A greater power said you weren't supposed to vote. What do you got? Anything?
Well, I mean, I kind of have something to piggyback off that.
Thank you for that late applause. Thank you.
So, I think if you're gonna vote, you should be required to pass a basic quiz exam, whatever you want to survey, what you call it. But they ask you 10 simple questions that every voter should know.
I would not be allowed to vote, but currently, if they gave me that test right now, so we gained our freedom from
Britain,
Britain,
Yeah.
not France.
not France.
Okay, so I would fail that now, and I am ashamed about that, and which it is what it is. But
But we can give you like a little pamphlet. Like this is what's going to be on the test. This is what you should know.
I want you to come up with a test, John.
Okay.
In your free time, just give me 10 questions, and
Just see if
and
you
I
pass.
want to and I want to see
Well,
if I would pass. I probably
For
wouldn't.
one, okay, here's one. How many states are there?
Oh, 50. Sure,
Okay,
I know that.
There's people out there who think there's like 48, 52.
So Puerto Rico's not a state.
No.
Washington D.C. is still not a state.
No.
So
True.
okay, if we're talking about more simple questions like that, I would pass.
But I mean that's the bar.
What? Well,
I'm not asking you to be a poli-sci major.
no. We do, but we had that in my middle school way back in the day, where senators serve 6-year terms, right?
Yeah.
Which brings me to term limits. How, in God's name, do we not have term limits yet? I don't believe that people keep voting for Nancy Pelosi or Mitch McConnell. I'm talking about both sides of the aisle.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that voting is rigged. But why are these people? They are so far attached, far out of reality, and yeah. So
Yeah. How can you see them like when they talk and they do like speeches and you wonder like why? Who's voting for this?
how is nobody? And I'm not talking about like somebody in the other party beating them. How is nobody in the same party, like in 40 years, not beaten Nancy
Yeah.
Pelosi? And I think she's from San Francisco. That city is, it's not as great as it used to be. I don't think it's as bad as the right says it is, but it's not as good as it used to be. How could somebody have not have beaten her in her own party over the last 40 years? Same with Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer and all these guys. So yeah, term limits for sure. And then you mentioned this. Now I think it should be 65, but you think it should be 55?
No, I think 65.
Okay, so to run or serve for any part of Congress, including and for sure president, you should have to be between the ages of 35 years old and 65 years old. You can run at, as long as you're elected by 65, you can finish out your term, but then you're done. Like the fact that I believe it was at the beginning of our country, they decided that 35 was the minimum, or shortly after the inception of our country, the founding fathers or the people in charge said 35 is the minimum you can be.
Yeah.
You've got to have some life behind you and some life experience behind you before you can. They had the wherewithal back then to know that there's a minimum. How have we not come up with a maximum yet in 200 years?
George Washington is probably turning in his grave.
I can't believe that Jill Biden, I almost blame her as much as Joe. I would blame Melania, but I don't think Trump would probably divorce her.
Yeah.
But like Jill Biden is all for it. I'm like, you guys need to enjoy the rest of your lives.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder, like, what's in it for her?
Right.
Why
Is
so pushy?
she so power hungry that she's like, her husband is obviously, I'm not a doctor. I don't know symptoms of dementia. She's obviously not, he's in decline. If you really love your husband that much at 81, 82, whatever he is, and you could see that he can barely put sentences together at times, you want him flying all over the country, flying all over the planet, making speeches, like being shuffled off here or there, making enormous decisions for this country. Don't you want to just enjoy the remainder of your life together?
You think.
So anyway, 35 to 65, I went on a tangent again.
That's all right.
Here's one, John. I've never liked, I would even say I've despised presidential pardons. Now you might disagree with me. Let me just say for the record, how much time are we in right now? Oh man, we're going on. This is gonna be a long one. That's fine, John. Don't worry about it. Most people have tuned out anyway. Like this guy. This guy. Yeah. Yeah,
And
he's
there
done.
goes another one.
And then there's this. You know what that is? That's a future Griswold.
Someone just
That's
ate White Castle.
that's a future Griswold and somebody that just ate a bad White Castle burger. Yeah, you might want to check your burger before you eat it. Presidential pardons. I don't like. So let's say there's a 2-year trial, a major trial. Could be for drugs, could be for murder, could be for espionage, whatever. And a president, and you got lawyers working on it. You got judges, probably the appellate. Part of our best thing is the appellate process. You can appeal, and if you were completely treated unfairly, you can appeal and appeal and appeal. But eventually, hopefully the truth comes out and the right decision is made. But you can go through a trial for 2 years with lawyers and a jury and judges and evidence, and with one swipe of the pen, a president could just be like, no.
Yeah, it seems a little totalitarian there.
It's always been ridiculous to me. And you want to talk about nepotism? How many times do they do it for people that they know, or donors, or family members? I don't like it. You got anything else?
Yes. Speaking of Pelosi,
Get it.
but Congress should have to live in the district in which they represent.
100% agree.
Yeah.
John, I 100% agree with that.
So, I mean, let's face it, we have technology now. These people don't need to be in Washington. They can do all the work they do.
Absolutely. Zoom. Well, same with
they had no problem with us doing it.
Well, same with the every couple months they have the climate conference where they all fly in their private jets.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a small. I don't care if it's small or not. You all can Zoom. If you're gonna be that, if you're gonna stand on that stump and say that we all have to completely upend our lives, the least you can do is do that meeting on Zoom.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to make decisions for your district, you probably should be living in that, so to make the right decision, don't you think?
Well, yes. The more
you gotta live it. You're gonna govern it.
Correct. If you're not there, if you're only living there 2 months a year, if that, how do you know? I wonder if that's going to get through to the thing. You hear that static, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying to figure out the microphones. Yeah, that's right. We're having a little fun. That's right. We're having a little fun. In between this enormous conversation about how we're changing the world, we're having some fun. Should we talk about, I don't even want to say it, the A word? Do you know what the A word is?
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. Look, my producer? Who's my producer? Carl? He's telling me we got a phone call. Okay, hold on one second, John. Just wait. Just hold on.
Hello? Am I on the air?
Yes, you are on the air. Who is this?
This is Catherine in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. When you said the A word, I'm assuming you're talking about abortion. Please, for the love of all that is good and holy, do not tell me that you and white guy John, both without uteruses, are going to talk about abortion. Please.
Catherine, I appreciate the call. We are not going to talk about abortion. I'm not even going to say anything about it. We are going to move on. Are you okay with that?
Yes, thank you. I don't think I am ever going to vote Griswold, but I do appreciate some of the points you're making. And once again, Mike, get in the fucking gym.
All right. Catherine and Sheboygan, thanks for the call. Fuck off. Don't call again. How about that? Anything else in this segment? The new government laws? That we talked about the popular vote, electoral college. I think we should keep the electoral college.
I think we covered a good chunk there.
Uh, 2 segments left. Better life in the USA. Here's some things, kind of laws, but not directly related to the government like we were just talking about. So this is a new segment. Let's another guy just jumped off the bridge. That's signifying a
one
new
less listener.
one less Griswold possibility. Better life in the USA under the Griswold party. I want to start off, John, once again. I know I'm starting off a lot. Actually, you start. Do you have any? Let's have your opinion first. Something that would be better in the USA under a Griswold administration.
Well, I have one that like really, really bothers me.
Okay.
If you're on the interstate and you're in the far left lane,
Yep.
you better be going at least 5 miles per hour over the speed limit. And if you're not, you better get over. And if you don't, you should be thrown in jail. Throw away the key.
Okay.
I mean, come on.
All right. So I talked to a police officer once that said they usually only pull over people for speeding if it's 10 or more. So you're saying if they are at 5 or less over the speed limit, get the hell out of the left lane.
Oh yeah, they're more dangerous than the guy who's going 90.
Correct. If you're in the left lane going
Yes.
that's
If you're
what the
going
right
slow,
lane is for.
Yeah, if you're going slow, you're just frustrating the people behind you, and you're just raising their boiling point. Hence, they're going to make a decision based because they're pissed off, and that's where the havoc happens.
John's on the highway. He's going up and down the road, and he's late for something, so he's kind of speeding a little bit.
Yeah, I'm always.
And then he comes up to this guy driving a Volvo, a beige one.
Oh.
And they're going roughly 47. This is my imitation of John behind the guy going 47 on the highway when he is late for a very important appointment.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Okay. I like that one a lot. I do a lot of things with cars. I hate when I try and move over to a lane that I have room and somebody speeds up to prevent me from that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
If
After going slow.
that will be against the law.
Yeah.
Here's something away from that. I think we should have no more televised award shows. Major fines for anybody that televises any award show of millionaires and or billionaires patting themselves on the back.
Yeah.
They're no longer entertaining. They're more like this. It's almost like political speeches left and right.
Finger wagging.
Yeah. So does the people that are here, do you agree with that? You do. Okay. Thank you. For no more televised award shows. John, do you have any more? I got a couple.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. Definitely a new holiday. I'm not really against taking away holidays or for taking away holidays. Celebrate whatever you just don't make me celebrate something I don't want to celebrate.
Yeah.
If you want to celebrate whoever you are, whatever you look like, whoever you have sex with, whatever, good. Have a great time. Just don't. If I want to get away from it, or if I don't want to it's not that I'm against it. Just don't force me to celebrate. But all holidays will stand. I think there's a new holiday that absolutely would be started when we take power.
Yeah.
It's the fantasy football holiday. So
Okay.
I'm a fantasy football commissioner. I am still heavily involved with fantasy football. It's one of my escapes from reality. And I like to be the commissioner. I like to be in charge. I know a lot of you want me to change the rules, and you started your own league with your own rules, which I liked a lot. But I like to have our fantasy football draft, which is an amazing day. Love that day. Always love that day. The Monday before the opening game, which is now on Thursday. So I believe it's September 5th, Thursday, Baltimore against KC. This year is so Monday, should be a national holiday for fantasy football draft day. We know all the injuries. We know all the trades. We know how the rookies are looking after the preseason. We know the depth charts. Perfect day to draft.
Maybe that can replace Labor Day.
Yeah, I was going to look into Labor Day.
What is Labor Day?
I was going to look into that. It would have been good research to do. I was actually hoping you weren't going to bring that up.
Yeah.
But and then, not only that, this is going to be a 4-day weekend because Tuesday, even though I don't drink anymore, at some point I will. I remember back in the day loving that fantasy football draft day and getting liquored up, sloshed, hammered, whatever you want to call it, schnuckered. I think one of my old friends
at 2
did.
a.m. You're like, why
yes.
did I draft
So the next day is fantasy football recovery day. So Monday and Tuesday of the opening week of the NFL is fantasy football holiday. Your thoughts on that?
I love it. Someone who plays every year, I'm totally on board.
I think if you are caught, this is a new law, it has nothing to do with fantasy football. If you are caught in public, outside of your home, your apartment, your yard, at a gas station, if you're caught at a gas station, grocery store, at a restaurant, anywhere in public, if you have your pants below your butt crack with your boxers hanging, your stank ass boxers hanging out, you even have a belt. I don't know how those people walk. That's a misdemeanor. From here on out, that's a misdemeanor. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's just like, I don't even get it. Like why are you having a belt? If you're just
I've heard people say it started in prison. Okay, well, why would you want to emulate a prisoner?
Yeah.
Number one. But number two, even if you did want to emulate a prisoner, you're a bad boy. I get it. That's what women like. Okay, that's fine. But you can't walk.
Yeah. I mean, not even the fact that it's borderline like indecent exposure.
It is with the stank.
No one wants to see that.
Nobody does. Nobody does.
Well, they have underwear.
I have just one more little thing, and then we'll probably move
I'm
on.
having a Mike Pence moment. I had a fly that landed.
I thought, okay. I watch Jeopardy every day. Do you watch Jeopardy every day, John? Do you record it?
No, definitely not. I kind of have
ever since the days, thank you, of James Holzhauer, I believe who was the second biggest winner, probably the most winner money-wise, but second longest. Big Game James.
Okay.
Not Ken Jennings, I think, had the longest streak, still the longest streak.
Yeah.
Holzhauer, I think, won the most money, but he was the guy that I think went all in on picking the big numbers first, trying to find the daily doubles.
Yeah.
Under the Griswolds, that will be outlawed. Okay? You have to go in order from 200, then 400, 600. You could switch categories, but you have to go in order. That is the way it used to be. It builds up to the tougher questions.
Yeah.
I need to get some momentum going into those $2,000 questions.
Yeah. It does. It's kind of weird why they do that sometimes.
And if they're trying to find the daily doubles, but especially in the first round, you don't have any money. You want to build up your money so that you can bet more when you find it.
Yeah.
So, either that or they should put the daily doubles more randomly. The daily doubles are always in the last slot or the second to last.
Yeah.
You don't really care about that, do you, John? John, I'm losing you. It's getting late. I'm losing you, John. Anything else you want to talk about before we go into the ticket?
Well,
I think prostitution should be legal. 2 consenting adults. Buyer beware. There's going to be a lot more penicillin sold, I'm guessing. A lot more STDs, but consenting adults, are you for that or against that? It's probably a bad precedent to set, huh?
If it's 2 adults, I think that's fine.
How about this?
It's kind of like a business exchange, no?
Yeah.
I mean, you do a lot of things that
Two consenting adults. If they're 2 consenting adults, but whatever. How about this? This is the final one I'm gonna give you. I've been getting these calls all the time, left and right. Telemarketing calls, potential spam. Anytime that it comes up, potential spam, or you're a telemarketer, that's $1 that goes into my bank account. The person you're calling, the callee gets $1 every time that you call, and it comes out of your or your company's bank account, the telemarketer. It is 2024. If we really need something, we can go to the internet.
Absolutely.
We don't need somebody calling me and telling me, hey, you need this, or hey, have you ever thought about, no, because if I did, I'd go to the internet. All right, John, we got to wrap this up. We're losing you.
Well, I do want to add a holiday.
Holiday. Let's add a holiday.
It's football related.
Okay.
President's Day, as you know,
We just lost another voter. Go ahead.
Is the end of February, right?
Okay.
It's like a Monday. The Super Bowl is like the first week of February.
Oh.
Why don't we move President's Day to the Monday after the Super Bowl?
100%.
So everyone can get the day off.
Love it.
We can call it Hangover Day, Super Bowl Monday.
I would say 95% of the people out there agree with you. People have been shouting for a national holiday the Monday directly after the Super Bowl Sunday.
Let's be the party
for
that
sure.
makes it happen.
We'll be the party that's the final kiss on the top of the cupcake. I don't even know what that fucking meant. That was weird. And that was just awkward. All right, so that's good. So the final thing we're going to talk about is who we are going to run. I think we should run in 2024. There's plenty of time left. I don't even think the Democrats know who their nominee is. I'm not sure that the Republicans know if their nominee is going to be free and not in jail, which is why we did this entire podcast, because there needs to be a change in American politics. Who is on your ticket, John, to run for the Griswold Party?
Okay. I think that this is a ticket that a lot of people can get behind.
A ticket a lot of people can get behind.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. For president, Kurt Russell, the actor. He played Wyatt Earp.
Okay.
He played in Escape from New York. Was it Snake Pilson?
I don't know
You're
what.
not familiar with
No,
Kurt
I'm
Russell?
not familiar with that. I know Kurt Russell was in a great movie called Overboard. I thought he was great in that movie, Overboard. I've always liked that him and Goldie Hawn have been together. Are they still together?
I think so. Yeah.
They've been together for, I don't even think they got married.
Yeah.
But they've been together for a long time. They've always made
makes them even cooler.
a cute couple. He was very good in Tombstone.
It was amazing. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's like one of the best movies ever.
John's awake again. John's awake. John's a big fan of Kurt Russell. So Kurt Russell is the president. Now, wait a minute. Is he under 65? Wait a minute. I think Kurt Russell might be.
Well,
I'm going to look that up right now. Who's his VP?
Oh, Dolly Parton.
Oh, well, that's not going to work. Kurt Russell is 73 years old. Kurt Russell is no longer eligible under the Griswold plan.
Well, okay. Well, until we can get that changed, we'll go with Kurt Russell.
And then your other one was Dolly
What?
Parton. Now,
Yeah.
why Dolly Parton?
Because everybody loves her.
She's been in some hot water with the LGBTQIA.
Oh, who hasn't?
True. Dolly Parton is 78, which, by the way, both of those are younger than the current people we have now. I like it.
Does anyone?
I like it, but
It's not wowing you.
it's not wowing me just because I knew that you did not want anybody under 65 running for office. I thought you were going to come up with some younger people.
Yeah, well, I just thought I wanted people to be of the people. My candidates to be of the people.
Okay. Well, you're also racist because they're both white. Although you're not sexist because one of them's a woman. I
checked one box.
You did check one box. But if we go by meritocracy, I think they're both qualified.
Can you imagine sending Dolly over to negotiate with
No more wars.
other leaders? I mean,
No more wars.
two distractions.
I mean, if Dolly ever fell down, she'd bounce right back up. Still, she's still alive, right? She didn't die.
Oh yeah, she's
Okay.
very alive.
Okay. That's good. Thanks. So my ticket.
Breaking news: Dolly Parton is still alive.
That's great news. To finish off this long episode of the Griswold Party, the episode's going to change America, John. I am going to be nominating the following 2024 ticket for President and Vice President of the United States. The President, my nominee, Tyrus. Do you know who Tyrus is? You ever watch the show?
Game of Thrones?
No. You ever watch the show Gutfeld? So Tyrus he was a bodyguard for a while for Snoop Dogg. He was recently a wrestler, an enormous man, very, very smart. His real name is George Murdoch. He's multiracial. His dad was black. His mom was white. Whenever I listen to him on Gutfeld, I agree with like 98, 99% of the things he says. And I have lived a completely different life than he has. Just really down to earth, but he's also fun. He's nowhere near perfect. He's had some trouble in the past, but he has repented. You can tell he's a really good human being right now.
Wait, what do you mean he is George Murdoch?
His name is George Murdoch. His stage name is Tyrus. We're going to keep...
Is he like Prince?
Kind of.
Doing a Prince?
Kind of.
Okay.
We're going to keep Tyrus as his...
Okay.
Because the other one, it's a TT.
Oh, okay.
We're going to keep his stage name. He can go by George Murdoch or President Murdoch if he likes. I prefer Tyrus, but it's up to him. He's my nominee. For VP, my VP would be Tulsi Gabbard. So Tyrus and Tulsi. The 2024 ticket under the Griswold Party is Tyrus and Tulsi. Tulsi is also multiracial, but I don't know if it's racial or multi.
She is.
She's
I do like her.
Samoan, and then there's some Caucasian. But she used to be a Democrat.
Yeah.
And she just got fed up with the party. She's not a Republican. She's an independent.
Yeah.
She like to wind up this episode, just like we talked about at the beginning. Our color is purple. We want to unite. We want to bring people together. Tulsi was on the left, and there was a bunch of things she did not like about the left. She doesn't want to be on the right because there's a bunch of things she doesn't like on the right. She's independent. She's trying to take the best things from the right and the best things from the left and bring them together. She would be the best VP in the history of the country.
I do know that she ate Kamala's lunch, Kamala, when they're in a presidential debate. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
She took her to school.
Yeah. Kamala, she's an interesting one. I don't know if she's just playing a role or if she's taking a back seat. I would prefer her over Biden, but maybe that's crazy. I don't know. Anyway, we have got to end. We are right at like an hour. John, you need to get to bed, buddy. Thanks so much for coming out.
Thanks.
Do you think we changed the world today or no?
Oh, yeah.
There'll be some Griswolds out there. I don't know how many people stayed till the end, but we love you. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, what did we miss? What are some new holidays you want? Who would be on your ticket? Let us know. Smash those like and subscriber buttons. I think that's what the kids say. Cheers. Be good. Do good. We out of here. All right, John, let's walk off, buddy.